All right. Hello, everyone. We are here with an extremely well working Mango and the 6-4 podcast. This time live as part of the 5 Days of Melee, supporting Direct Relief. It's a humanitarian charity. Sorry, I'm reading this for the first time. I want to make sure I get this right. It's a humanitarian charity which supports people affected by COVID-19, I believe. I think we all kind of suffered a lot from it, but obviously there's some people that have had their jobs lost and had relatives and friends and everyone close to them suffer even worse from it. So you can donate by using the links, and when you donate, you can also submit your questions, which we will answer later in this podcast. So how are you? How are you? Doing great?
Me?
Yeah, everyone.
I'm doing good. I've been back on the grind. Documentary was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're just gonna talk about the doc, right?
I feel like that's
we ran into some production issues, so we're pretty much gonna talk about the doc and then ask a few questions, and then maybe I'll tease a little bit about Slippy Ranked that I remember hearing because I think some people are interested about that.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's start this off. Obviously, me and Mango were depicted by the doc in like a more... We probably maybe have more to say, so I want to get Zain's opinions first. What did you think about the doc?
Zain's a dirty PPMD fan.
What do you
mean,
he
dude? Loves it.
You deduced that from one tweet? Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, all right. So my perspective, obviously, there's some issues, right? Obviously, if I were you two, I'd be pissed. But I've never really heard PP story and Armada story, and obviously it was like pretty zeroed in on that. But I thought the parts that they did do with that was really good.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was cool for me because Apex was the first tournament that I watched, 2015. So it was interesting to relive that, even if there was like villain music every time. Not even villain music. It was just sad. Like
it was very sad.
Yeah, I feel like so much of it could have been better with just like, I don't know, like any music replacement, and it would have been completely different. But I like that about it. Yeah, I thought the first 3 episodes are the best in terms of pacing.
Fire.
They're super fire. Yeah, like the way they mirrored Mango's Big House run with Pound was really cool. Like the narrative structure seemed really intact for the first 3 episodes, and when they did PP with like he talked about how like Shiz was his inspiration, and then they like did that transition. That was really cool. And then it seemed like the narrative structure started getting like really muddled for the next few episodes, but overall I still kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean I think everyone here can at least agree that like at least episode 2 and 3 were really good.
Yeah.
Like I super enjoyed episode 2 and 3, and for me it was like that was kind of the reason why I think everyone had like really, really high expectations for the following episodes, and then they were hyped up, and it's like,
dude, just I was saying, like, remember how everyone felt on Friday? You went to Twitter, everyone was happy. It was like such a different feeling. And then Saturday was total opposite. I think everyone was mad on Saturday. It was literally happy to like, what the fuck, in like a 24-hour span.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for you, they were jerking it. It was an apology tour for you.
It was like, because I looked so good. I was like, oh, I'm finally looking badass. Like I know I am in the first episodes. I'm like, fuck yeah. Everyone's Mango Nation boner was Mango Nation out of its mind. It's like, yes, that's the Mango we love. And then it just threw me in the dumpster the next few episodes.
Yeah. I thought they closed it off well though for you. Even though like
I think overall I was portrayed fine. I look back at it and I'm like, I'm overall happy with it, minus the slur and like that I didn't get to defend myself, like the whole Kevin thing. It felt weird that Kevin just kind of got to say our part of the relationship, but like only like his point of view, and it's like I wasn't even asked about Kevin, right? Yeah. So like I think that was kind of whack.
I'll give some context on that. So if you didn't watch it and you can't actually watch some of it right now, and the final version is going to be, edited and redone a little bit. So basically, what I think is going to happen is that they're going to take away some parts. I'm probably going to do maybe some major edits for the last couple episodes. But I listened to PP talk about it, and I talked to Tofu, who talked with PP about it, and it was basically that he didn't really like think that his comments would be portrayed that way, like in terms of
Kevin?
your relationship with him. And he was like surprised with how negative it made you seem, because I think for him, he maybe just like thought like, oh yeah, I mean, you kind of make fun of him, but ultimately that's also something that happened for him in school. And if he doesn't like it, then like, you know, that's kind of also on him to like, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't have to be friends with you, I guess. I don't think you're a bully if you're like, if you're jerking it with your friends and they don't like it, they should say so.
Well,
obviously,
that's what I said. Like,
yeah.
The way the doc comes off, it kind of sounds like I'm bullying him, but like, I mean, me and Kevin were like super close. We were like ultra close, which I think got that point across. But it sounded like I was just kind of bullying him. When that's, I mean, you could ask Kevin; he wouldn't say that. Like, I think it was just he never told me that. Like, also nobody knew he was going through like depression, like the shit with his family. Like nobody fucking knew that. Like obviously, had I known that, I wouldn't have picked on him as hard. And like,
I personally don't think he blames other people either. But but with how the documentary painted it, maybe it feels like like maybe Samox got that impression even. That's possible, right? Or maybe he just played it up to make a more interesting narrative.
Yeah. I also think what happened is that he probably interviewed Mango first. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think he interviewed Mango first, and then he probably interviewed PP after, and then that like relationship stuff came up, and so it became super one-sided, and you never heard Mango's side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was weird. Because even when I heard it for the first time, I was like, what the fuck? where did that come from? I was like, damn, I had no idea.
Yeah. But I mean, I think overall, they did do dirty a few times. They showed like in the first 2 episodes, they didn't show much drinking, and then they did the like cross cut with Armada practicing for Genesis 2 and you playing beer pong.
Yeah, that part was kind of weird. It like went back to the first doc.
And he was hiking. I was like, Armada doesn't fucking hike. Give me a break. Armada plays beer pong too. Have you seen that, man?
So those episodes were tough. I also think episode 7 that was like a filler episode. I was so not interested by episode 7. I was very like, I just didn't get what the point was.
Your mic is weird again.
Oh!
I think it's fine now.
It sounded fine when he screamed. I don't know. Maybe just power
Is it
through.
good? Does it just do that?
Oh no, it's fucked. Whatever.
Just go with it.
Just go with it.
Scuffed. Yeah. But yeah. I think so. So my view of it was that like, I had just watched the previous documentary, and I never watched it back in the day. So for me, I tried watching the first documentary back when it came out, and I know it was like huge for a lot of people, right? Like I think Zain, you watched it when you were getting into Smash.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Was it like a big part of you getting into Smash, or was it just like everything together?
I joined before I watched it, and then I watched it like the first summer that I started competing. I saw it, and that definitely like ignited a passion for it. Just because, I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the new one is better than the first one. I thought a lot of the first one was really bad, but even still, as like a newcomer and not being embedded in the community, I think that's a big thing. Like if you're embedded in the community and you know a lot of stuff, then you're gonna have like a lot of issue with it. And
I was actually go ahead, finish there.
Yeah, I think that's a problem with a lot of documentaries, is that it never really fully encapsulates the true experience. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, no, it's funny you bring that up, because like, I think because we're in the community, we just see all the holes. It's like, well, you skip this and that. It's like, well, that's so. I think like, are we the audience or like new people audience? The thing is, I don't know anybody. All my friends play Smash, so I don't have an unbiased opinion from anybody.
Yeah, I think.
So I'm more curious to see like what people who don't know shit about it say, because I think they're probably more the target audience than
it's
us.
more important, I think, too, just like
exactly.
for the goal of the documentary is to like draw more people in. And I think if it has the same effect that it did on me with the first one, which I really think it can, like even with it being the PP story and the Armada story, I think it's compelling enough to draw people in.
Well,
Yeah.
I think a big problem, and I think I think you guys will agree, was fucking. So the whole thing was like the five gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you just said this is a PPMD Armada main focus, everyone would have liked it 20% more. Because the whole time I was saying it's pretty much the 2.5 gods. It's like them two, and I'm sprinkled in, and then HBox and Meats King get nothing. So the whole time you're like, where's Meats King? Where's Hungry Box? And then Leffen comes in, he's just a dick. And then somehow Leffen, accomplishing something, sick is like seen as bad, but it's like, so I just think like that was the main thing. It was just like all over the place with that. I think if it's depicted as Armada PP, it's way better. Like 100 times better. Because you're just kind of posh champ the whole time waiting for another god to come in, and then they just kind of don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like the biggest issue was just like the scope of it. I think, I mean, I think it's a very common problem, right? Like this was a kickstarting project that started out as a Armada movie and then became about Armada and PP because PP like won Apex and stuff. And then it was like, well, it's been a while, so let's include all the gods. And then let's include Leffen. And then, it just kept expanding. And I think if you guys have read anything about any kickstarting project, that is like the literal recipe for disaster, to just like keep expanding the scope. And I was like, I watched the original documentary, and I thought it was like good in many ways. And like the things that really hit, it really did well. Like some of the interviews were great. Like Ken Wife, like had so many amazing lines. There are obviously a lot of really interesting people, Korean DJ, Isaiah, Music King, that like kind of carried it, because I never, like, to me, and I don't want to sound mean because it's a one person job. It wasn't well edited. It was like an amateur job with like some cheesy narrator, and like it worked out because like the interviews and all the things like carried it, the scene and like the magic of the game carried it. And I feel like for this one, it was the scope became too big and the production values went up way up. So I still like this doc more in many ways. But the problem was that like in doing so and upping the production value, I feel like they lost some of the magic because they focused so much on a couple people, and those people, no offense to either of them, but their storylines at that time just weren't the most like hype ones, and it didn't really show much of the other hype things happening in the scene at the time.
Yeah, I think if you try to like what you're saying is like sandwich and everything at the last second, it's like because there's pressure to do so, right? Because you're like, what about this person? What about that person? It definitely dilutes the final product and the initial thing that you were trying to portray. And I mean that definitely happened. Like Mega said, if it were just PP and Armada, it would have been like that's fine, because that's a fine story to tell. And I still think it can draw in a lot of people, which is what I'm assuming the goal is.
Yeah, and I mean, I was like, so when I finished watching the original documentary, it was like a mixed bag. Watching it 8 years later, obviously had aged bad, but it was still like entertaining. But then when I saw the new doc and I saw like the hour count that it was going to be 7 hours, I got really scared because I knew I'd watched the interview, and the interview it features me almost. It's like it almost puts me in the like protagonist role. It's like there were 5 gods until one person came down and slayed them all, basically. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I had done like one 10-minute interview. So I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
How are they going to fill 7 hours if they did a 10-minute interview with me? It was going to be rough. And I feel like that's ultimately like what caused a lot of the minor issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just because I believe he like halfway through decided to change the like point, right? The story. 'Cause that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's why I think in the middle it gets so crazy and there's like 50 things happening, because he kind of like had too much to work with, and then I think kind of lost sight on what the main point was. So it got kind of sloppy in the middle.
Yeah, the middle was really directionless is what I would describe it as. Where you didn't really know like what was this building up to. the original Doc's strength was that like he didn't have too much footage on any one person. So it was like, all right, we have, you know, the introduction episodes, like how good are these players basically, and then you have like the Zain and like the East Coast West Coast thing, and then you have the Isaiah episode, and then the Mute King episode. Like it was pretty easy like that. For this one, it was like episode 1, which I think was okay, but how like was weird structurally and maybe like had signs of what would come. Was like, okay, we're trying to compare Mango's run at Big House to Mango's run at Pound, which was like, I guess, okay, but I didn't really think it worked out like amazingly. And then the best episode, in my opinion, was episode 2 and 3 because they were really simple. They were like, all right, it's about Armada and Mango at Genesis, and then it's about Armada and PP at Pound, and like PP's journey and a little bit extra, right? Also included some stuff like Armada's young Link in episode 3. But I think those episodes worked so well because they were simple and like it just was really straight to the point, but it was done amazingly.
Yeah. I was saying when I first saw 2 and 3, I was like, I can't, because I did the documentary sketch. I was like, I can't meme on this. I was like, it's actually just really solid. But then when they started adding so one of my biggest gripes was how often they did the Bruce Lee shit. Which, to be fair, I think that concept has its place, and I think it's fully legitimate. Like, it's pretty dope, is to compare like Jeet Kune Do with Melee, and like be like water and stuff. But the way they executed it just felt.
It was like the editing with the waterfalls.
Yeah,
and
it reminded me of the first doc. I was like, oh, this is like so much different from the first like 3 episodes, like in terms of production value. Like it just feels tacky.
It feels like he almost got tired of doing it that way.
Yeah,
like halfway through. I remember this so strongly because there's a part I hated in the original documentary with Isaiah and the anime pictures.
yeah.
Where it's like zooming in on anime pictures and talking about girls. And then they did the same thing for PP's X, but this time it was stock footage.
Oh, it was stock footage. Yeah. I was like, is that her? I was like, that's not her, right?
Yeah. And it was like, oh no, it's the same thing. It's 8 years later, but it's the same thing basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be completely fair, I think that if we're not going to get into any of the like issues with me or anything, I think the biggest issues are like things that can actually be pretty easily fixed with just like doing another rounds of edits, cutting down, like structuring things. Maybe every episode doesn't need to be 50 minutes. Maybe some can just have one story. Or maybe another one can be expanded a little bit upon to include something else. But for the most part, I think it just needs to be like had a different perspective on it, I guess. And then for the last part, which I think is the most memed about part, was the tone in the last couple episodes.
I feel like honestly, it's like do like one more round of interviews, edit a few things, take out a few things, and I think it's a 10 out of 10. It's like got like it has the most
important
it has
things.
And like imagine if like the other episodes were even like half as good as like 2 and 3. Just kept that format and would have been so good. I think if he literally I don't know if he wants to put more work into it or not, but I think he makes a few changes. Interviews you, that way you can say your part. You can even interview me about the Kevin part.
Interview Zain for a bonus ep.
Interview Zain and I don't know what the fuck he's gonna
honestly,
say.
I think okay. So I think the issue is if you interview me or you, it might come off weird because it's using 2020 me.
No, I literally use that. Like, I think it's cool that they have old interview of me talking. Like, I completely forgot about that Mango, no beard. So I thought that was cool. So I was saying it'd be weird if like we talk now.
Maybe they should do. It's just like, you know, just have a third party. You know how they did like Ludwig cut-ins and like Jisoo and people replaced lines. I think that's what they needed. They needed someone to
that'd be cool,
to like show some narration, because I think one of the biggest things that were missing in the doc that like kind of made it miss the magic a little bit of the previous one was there was no moment where Korean DJ went, now he will try, and like shit on casuals. There was never a moment where people really understood how much better the 5 gods were. it was like at Big House, Armada says like offhand, like, oh yeah, that was when Hungerbox lost, that was the first time my god didn't get top 8. And then they just like move on. But that should have been like a cool ass point. Like, this is how dominant they are. Maybe show like this guy was number 6th, like hacks or something, and like this is how PP set with him went at MLG, where it was like almost a JV5. Just to like build up that thing. And to do that, you really just need a guy like talking about the events.
Shit, I'll do it.
This guy just wants to be in the dock so bad.
I was watching the credits. I was like, come on. I was like, so much fun. I was just a taste. And then it ended. And I was watching with Caitlin, and she's like, oh, I guess you're not in it, huh? And I was like, yeah, it's fine.
You know, I wish I wasn't in it.
Yeah, you don't even know, bro.
I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I was sad.
But yeah, like a couple more things and like a bit more, and then I mean, dude, the last episodes were honestly they were kind of a downer, just straight up. I like when I watched the first 2 episodes. So a bit of context: these were aired over three days, 3 episodes at a time. The first 3, I was like, oh my god, I missed tournaments so much. I want to go back. I want to fucking.
Melee boners were throbbing after the first 3. That's why I know the rest could be better, because he had it right and it was going. Yeah. That's why I know, like, if he makes a few edits and like kind of. I think he just has to simplify. I feel like he was going too many different directions. Again, I'm not a fucking TV movie critic, but it just felt at some point I was kind of lost. And then it was just like bouncing around a lot. And I was like, But I feel like if he simplifies it and like just kind of, because the format in 2 and 3 were simple, right? I feel like that's why it was good and it worked. And then I think he tried to go a little fucking Bruce Lee on the rest, and he just went a little too crazy, and it just like didn't work for him. But like there are good parts in those episodes. Even though a lot of those episodes I didn't like super like, there are parts where I was like, "Ooh, I'm interested again." There's some other parts where I'm like, "What does this have to do with anything?" So it was a lot of flip flopping between like, "Oh my god," to like, "You're kind of confused," and I feel like that was like the main problem.
Yeah, I really noticed that when like they were doing a lot of interesting like with the Paragon tournament stuff like that, and then they would just skip to Hungerbox going to a museum. And then they would go to the money match, and then they would go back to Hungerbox, and then back to the money match, and then the money match wasn't even in that episode. It was a lot of like just kind of weird decisions. But even in those episodes, there were like still really hype things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think honestly, like if he just changes the music and like a few edits towards the end, I think it would have been like I think honestly it would have felt like we were nitpicking, because I think the biggest thing was just that like the ending was such a like, it wasn't like super downer, but it was such a kind of like, oh, it's over.
Well, I guess that's his perspective, but like it just feels like from Kevin's moment it should have been like, I mean, maybe he liked it, but for me I was like waiting for like this build up, right, of Kevin like you know, he's depressed and he's dealing with a lot of shit. And he like can't play.
Like,
and
we
he
watched enough
to.
Movies to know like this is where the hero's gonna come back and win.
That's where it feels
and he
like
does win. He does win, but then it's like he won. Oh, like, what?
Yeah, it was the music. It was 100% the music.
Yeah.
Also, the music fixes. It would fix 50% of your narrative if they just made it like triumphant. Like
I did a stream today where I just played like the same Apex sets, but just played Ping Pong OST, and it was like, oh my god, this
Ping
is so
Pong
sick.
OST is so good. Oh yeah, that would have been sick. That would have been so good.
Yeah, and I think that was honestly the biggest miss for those things. Now, if we're gonna get into like how I was depicted, I think obviously like, I think you, Mango, you got like both ends. You got both
I'm
ends.
fine with that. I can walk out and be like, that's all right. I can live with it.
Yeah, because most people are only gonna watch episode 2.
Oh yeah.
Like if you know anything about like most people only watch episode 1, and then like another 25% tune out after episode 2, and then another like 10% tune out episode 3. Like
I'm not complaining with how it's portrayed. I think I made out okay. I can live with it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, it looked real bad there, like day 2 when they were episode 5, 6, but you kind of made a little comeback.
Yeah, no, I can live with how it's portrayed. I was saying like and it sounds biased because it's me, but like, I think doing it on PPMD Armada is weird. When if you ask anybody what they think about of 2010, 2015 Melee, they will all say Mango Armada. So it's like weird to have me, who's an obvious main character during that time, not the main character, and have Kevin. And it's like nothing personal. It's just you ask anybody, they're gonna say when you think back of the God era, it was literally Mango versus Armada. Like that's what people came to see. So it was kind of weird, like the story, because like I'm just kind of in the background to them when I like shouldn't be, and I thought that was pretty weird.
At the very least, it could have been more like I think people could have been in there, but he could have been like the dark horse that was like still featured, like maybe even more heavily than we thought he would be. But like you were not, you maybe had like 10%, 15%, whereas
it's
PPMD
like
Armada was like 40-40 each.
I mean, Rob posted the stats, and like I literally won 60% of the tournaments during that time, and like Kevin didn't even attend a lot of them. And I think it would have been really cool if it was like a Mango Armada storyline, because that's literally what it was. With like Kevin, being the dark horse and being like maybe the one guy who can kind of keep up with us, but he's going through his problems, and then in the end he wins. I think would have been a really cool.
I think it's fine if they show Apex at the end and he wins. It's like, oh, that's dope.
No, I mean, like,
and they had like that
the
underlying narrative,
Because the whole time it's like Mango Armada, but like Kevin's
like,
battling
what
his
about
demons.
this? Yeah.
So he's kind of in his side, and then when he finally wins, it's kind of cool because me and Armada lose, and it's also like the end of the era because Leffen's coming in. So now you got Mango Armada kind of here, because for those years we won everything between us, right? So I think what would have been cool is like, okay, like towards the end, it's like the two main gods are kind of getting dethroned, right? And Leffen's coming up, and it shows that someone else can win, and I think that would have been a really fucking cool storyline.
Well, yeah, like I think so. It was pretty obvious that he was going for the whole like, oh man, the era of the gods is ending, and that's why the music is so sad. But I think that's kind of like that's not even accurate, because the like 5 god 6 like it just became top 6. Let's be real, and then Plup came in eventually. It wasn't until after 2018 really that like things actually really changed, and it wasn't because the 5 gods were necessarily like dethroned as much as it was like a combination of things. But to paint Apex 2015 where it was really things were just getting started, is kind of weird to put it as the end point, because it wasn't the last big tournament, it was the first of many big tournaments. But I guess like it makes sense, like he wants to have this narrative that the 5 god era was ending, but to me it feels almost like he wasn't like, was he really paying that much attention to the scene? Like I don't think anyone in the scene would make the same narrative almost. I'm kind of confused by that personally.
Wasn't Battle of the 5 Gods like way after that too? Like that
no, that was like 2017 or something. It's like I mean PPMD story kind of like when like he kind of disappeared a little bit. And that's kind of what happened. Like it, honestly, like that was kind of what happened, that I almost replaced his spot, and then the 5 like top players kept winning everything.
Yeah.
Can we? Why did my orb get shattered? Why did my orb get on the hardest?
I have
absolutely obliterated.
Because like that would have made sense if it was, because at that time I was the best. It would have made sense if like the biggest, like you beat the best god at the time, which was me. That's not a lie. But like it doesn't cover that, so it's like, why did I get so nuked? If like, shouldn't Armadas have been nuked or PPs, because like they were the focus, right? Like
I 6-0'd Armada.
Like that's a nuke and a half. Like it makes no sense, right? And like
creamed him.
I was thinking it would have been cool. Like I said it in your stream. I don't know if you saw it though. Like just for your part, like how it's playing the money match and like you're up 2-0. And then like I start making a comeback because I'm down like 3 stocks to 1 in the third game. I'm about to get 3-0, and I make a comeback. I think even something like showing my orb, like flashing to that scene, and like my orb starts flashing a little bit, like some cheesy shit where it's like, oh shit, Mango's coming to life. Because then if you've never watched the match and you see my orb kind of, you're like, oh my god, is Mango gonna make this fucking comeback, dude? Like I think things like that could have been cool, like just little things, but like I don't know. I just don't get why my orb got nuked.
Yeah, I thought PP's orb coming back was badass.
No, it was cool. Yeah, the orb stuff had potential. Yeah, no, like
there
the
just
orb,
needed to
the orb
be
stuff
more
was
moments
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
And it was also super weird because like me versus PP was really hype at the time, and part of it was because we had the MOG sets, right? But like, where I like basically four-stucked in the first game, I think.
Yeah.
But then the way they showed that set in the documentary was PP comes on screen, like talks about like he's already sad, and then they show the sad music keeps playing, and then it keeps going to him breaking up with his girlfriend, and then it keeps going to something else, like all while playing the exact same music.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem like there was a rivalry, that he was doing anything really to beat me. It was just like it made it seem like I was the cause of all of those.
Yeah,
but
narratively I can see that.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think that like there's a lot of easy fixes. I don't think people should hate on Samox because he is one of us. He's trying to do better.
Yeah, it's 100% clear that he has amazing intentions, and like
and he has the talent. I think it's also very clear.
Yeah.
I think we're just kind of we have the Mango faith in him that I know he could make a fucking better. He could do better, right? So it's like I think we just expect it out of him. And I was saying to my chat, I don't think anyone should be negative towards him. I know he's been getting a lot of shit, but he had, like you said, he had nothing but the best intentions, and like he still did a lot for his community. So like
I
think everyone needs to chill.
To me,
on their
he's just
shit
like a
on Samox.
spacey player that like busted out a little bit at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
He's the Mango.
he still
dude.
had some
He's
amazing
kinda,
fucking stocks.
Yeah. So I think like I think everyone just needs to be nice. Like just be critical, but don't be a fucking dick about it. And like it's pretty much that simple.
I think at the end of the day, if you show it to some random guy who's never been in Smash, like I think it could have a good effect. And
yeah, I as long as they take out the part where I hate disabled people.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
Mango
that was
slurs.
crazy. That's probably the
that's the low point. Let's be real.
Yeah. It is.
I was at my neighbor's watching it, and I saw Mike Hagar start to talk about it, and the first thing I said was like, Leffen is so fucking mad right now that this guy's talking about it.
Oh my god, he was the least neutral
That's what
person.
I started dying, and then they jump into Rocky next to me. I was like, oh my god.
I didn't know who that guy was.
Your orb should have got nuked after that, dude.
Yeah.
You got nuked.
It was just so weird because like it was like contradictory in their own documentary, because first they end the previous episode with showing like what would be the best thing for the scene, and people goes like a new good player, and then they show me, and everyone's like super pog. Like,
the setup was so good.
The chat was like, oh my shit, oh shit,
everything was good, and
I was like, oh my god, is it Zain? Oh, it's Leffen.
Whoa, okay.
And that's why the sad music played.
Yeah, because I forgot about the setup. The setup was like, oh shit, like who's he talking about? But
it was a really good setup.
It was really good.
Yeah, and then the audience knew, but they didn't say my name. And then it was like it didn't show me how I rose through the ranks or anything. It just showed me like the first introduction was like, this guy hates disabled people.
I can't believe that's how they introduced you. Like that's
and then
crazy.
And then just went on. That I think that was the weirdest thing, that like they did that and then they just went on. They weren't like he changed.
He was
really.
relentless.
It was like he was a bit
they
more
never
respectful.
cleared it up at all. You were just a dick from there.
And then they kept playing sad music when I won, and then kept implying that I like broke up, like kept playing the sad music when I beat PP. Almost made it seem like I was the cause of his issues, and like I exploded your orb. What you were talking about streaming, so did I make you a streamer?
Sad.
It's like
that made no sense either.
You know what?
And
But
then
at the end of
it
the
just
day,
kept playing through. Dude, they made my beat like a sad moment. How?
it's so funny.
That's the biggest crime, I think. I don't
At the end
think
of the day, you gave him his color back, and that is true redemption.
Dude, I thought about that too, that if you know me, like I got a tiny bit of redemption at the very, very end if you know me, right? So when they like the credits roll and then it's like me going like next fucking time. Because if you know what happened, then it's like, okay, you know, I win Evo. I'm not a terrible person. Give him the color back. And then you see the rest of the where are they now things. But if you don't know me and the only thing you've done is watch the documentary and you've seen sad funeral music play, it seems more like the villain, the cartoon villain of like the weekly Saturday show going like, I'll get them next time.
Yeah.
Like, but honestly, I think even for me, I think the intention was kind of weird. I think because he was like I think Leffen fans are gonna be really excited for these next couple episodes, and that just made me really, really confused because maybe he just didn't realize what people.
I think he was trying to teeter on like edgy tone, but it just went full dickhead.
Yeah.
Like there was no balance.
Mm-hmm. But if you make me, I can be the villain. I can be an asshole, but just make me a cool asshole. Just make me like a Vegeta or something, not Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Let's play some ominous one-winged angel type
You
shit.
said Vegeta, not Hitler. I've never heard those two things in the same sentence.
No one has ever said those two words that close to each other in the history of time.
That was weird.
Anyway, how are we doing on time? Should we take some questions?
Oh yeah, questions.
Let me see. I don't know if they're posting anything in Discord. 13? Damn, okay.
Oh, we got time. Okay.
Okay. But let's round it out with a bit more positive. What were your favorite moments from the doc?
Zain, you talk. I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. Sorry, Leffen. It was when PP was playing you, and they played the synth music, and it was really sick.
That song's a banger.
That song was so sick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, no, my favorite moment is probably. I like when they're showing Mango versus Armada, and they show like Hugs coaching him, and he's like, "I can't do this," because it's like a completely different side that you never see. That was cool. And then the PP Shiz edit where he's playing Armada, and he's like, "I just like have to win," was super dope. So those are my two favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I think for those two, it was really hype too. And outside of those, like I think those were my favorite moments as well that you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. I think it was really cool to hear PP talk about the game, especially early before it became more about the book. I really I appreciated when he was talking about like, you know, when you're panicking, when you're, you know, like in the middle of it, what will you do? You will do what you came prepared to do, and stuff like that. Like I really like hearing his like perspective on it. And I thought the Armada interviews were great too. Like,
oh yeah, they definitely were really good.
Like all the interviews were honestly pretty killer. There were a lot of like really good lines.
Yeah.
How they showed off like the Youngling stuff was amazing.
Yeah.
All the like individual interviews were really good.
Yeah.
I think that was like probably the best part. I'm kind of mad Armada looks like this golden hero.
Dude, he looks great.
Armada looks amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, the Armada Android stuff got me emotional. I was like,
yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah, like
I bet it did.
Brother. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit weird because they really did not show a single even like remote like even meh thing about either PP or Armada from a third person perspective.
No, there was
PPMD
nothing
talked
bad
down
about
himself
that whatsoever.
Yeah, and like Armada said like, oh man, I lost that way again, but like there were no like personal flaws or anything. And then everyone else was a bit more flawed according to the documentary. So it definitely was like a little bit of a puff piece. But obviously like it's kind of weird. Like you wouldn't expect Armada's like family to like shit on him.
That'd be so crazy.
Like, yeah, he's a fucking choker. How fucking could he lose to PP again? Oh my god, he bullied that guy. Yeah, but I mean, I think there's always going to be some stuff like that, and like, I don't really have a massive problem with it, honestly.
Who's you guys' favorite side character?
Side character.
I'm Brandon Scar.
Oh,
I think
dude,
everything Brandon said fucking killed
Oh
me.
yeah. His commentary bits.
Everything he said
so
and like
good.
Brandon was my favorite part.
Dude,
of the
they cut out the put down your controller though.
Dude, one of his best
I was
parts was
upset
I thought that
about
was
that.
dumb. I thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
Put down your controller. He forfeits.
Yeah, when Brandon said what he say? He's like, you would have thought USA just won a war.
It was
or
a
something.
war.
That
Yeah,
shit was
cracked me
so
up.
high.
Yeah.
Dude, because let me talk about, I call it 2.4. Just the rest, like, I think that part was good because, like, a lot of people didn't know that, like, I literally turned to Hugo and was like, dude, like, I remember I said I can't win. It was like, because it was such a, like, I'll never forget how I felt in that moment. I was saying it earlier on my stream, but, like, I remember thinking like because like keep in mind I hadn't had to try in a while. It's like a funny genre, but like no one had pushed me because I would just destroy everyone at that time. So like this fucking guy comes out of nowhere and he fucking beats me in winners, and I'm like, okay, I got him. And then I go down 2-1. I get fucking Stitch Face comboed, and I'm like, and I looked at Hugo, and like the way I felt in that moment was like, I just thought like the first thing that came to my mind is like, wow, are we fucking not that good? Is Europe just fucking better than us? And like, am I just bad and America's just fucking shitty? Am I just like the best of a bunch of shitty ass players? Sound familiar, Leffen? And so like that moment came to me, and I'm just like, I was like, fuck, man. And like that moment like was such a like, because I turned to Hugo, and I'm not one to just be like a little bitch about it, but I was like, this guy might just be better than me.
Yeah.
And then I like it just hit me, and I was like, oh my god. And then like I was like, okay, I'm still gonna try. I'm like, I can't give up. Like America's cheering for me. And then like I hit that rest, man, and I think just that whole part was like, ooh, that part was dude.
Armada was shook after that.
Oh, I love it. After that, he didn't win a game. It was
the reason
over.
it's so sick to me is because it's like so out of character for like a moment, and then the stuff that happens in game like puts you back into character.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you're like, what? Like Mango looks
it's like sapped out, and then it's just like, wait a minute, and it's like, oh, I'm back.
You just see like a vulnerable side into like the fucking most clutchest moment in like Melee history. So I think that part was done. Oh, that part. I honestly got like the chills, dude. I fucking eyes got a little watery during that part, dude. That part hit me.
It was a great part. And then I thought it was really hyped to see like the same thing with PP when he like lost in winners and he went back to his hotel room. That was really fun.
That was cool. Yeah.
It's always nice to get like that little insight to them, like how like just like real quick, like this is how he felt, this is what he did. And
that was a thing that was from the later episodes that I really liked. Like when you saw PP react to my match at Beast, like it wasn't that he said anything crazy, but it was like a nice moment for me. Like, oh, I had no idea that PP reacted that way.
Oh yeah, like stuff like that's cool.
Right?
Because you just know PP was watching. You didn't even know PP was watching.
Yeah.
And then everyone, even I was like, oh shit, PP's watching, losing it. That's cool. Also, fuck that tournament.
I think he's probably always doing that, even now.
Then what else is he doing?
Oh shit,
I don't know.
True.
Hello,
PP. Hi, Kevin.
Is Kevin here? We're beefing.
Probably.
Oh, apparently.
Me and Kevin are beefing. If I see his ass in the streets, dude, you fucking better run. According to the doc, you can run. You can run forever. I'm beefing.
You know,
I'm
you're
beefing
on his
with
wall,
everybody.
right? Yeah, you are.
I'm beefing with literally every god. I don't like any of them, if I'm being real. Armada,
you said that
bitch.
you don't
PB,
follow any
bitch.
of them.
Music King, bitch. H-Box, bitch. Some motherfuckers.
They should have shown that in the "Where are you they now" section. like
bitch.
Mango's still competing. Mango streams. He doesn't follow any of the gods on Twitter.
Dude, you know why?
You don't?
If I'm being,
Not one?
No, fuck all of them. I only follow Leffen, dude. Leffen's my man. Dude, because I feel fucking abandoned if I'm being real by all the gods. Like, they just fucking left me. Why am I the last one? What the
H-Box is still
fuck?
dipping his toes.
Okay, I'm the only one seriously trying. How about that?
Yeah.
H-Box has his little fucking sausage toes in the water. I'm fucking out here in the streets, dude.
Sausage toe.
They did show that he was retired and focused on streaming, which was weird.
That made me mad. I was like, no, is this like a?
He quit for a week.
Yeah.
Guy retired twice, and what? The point is, I just feel abandoned by all the gods. I feel fucking abandoned.
Yeah.
Why do I have to keep playing,
I think it would
dude?
be cool if they tried. What's up?
Yes. Imagine the current era where Armada's playing. H-Box is fucking getting sweaty. Mute King's getting sweaty.
So
Fuck
They
yeah,
don't
no.
have to. I'm not gonna force
Obviously,
them.
PP has Health John, so I'm not gonna shit on him too much. But
Yeah.
like that
And
storyline.
I don't think people
was
should
like,
harass them to. But it
I
it
think
would
it's
be
whack.
fucking sick.
I always say like if they don't want to play it, they don't want to play. Like you don't want anyone to play if they don't want to play. Like
can't
people are
force
always
it.
like, oh, Mango's trying to bully them back. I'm like, I'm really not. Like, if there's one thing that sucks the fattest nuts is having to play Melee when you don't want to play Melee. It's a terrible. I've been there so many times, and you're like, why am I playing, dude? So like, if they don't want to play, that's fine. I just wish they did, because you got the gods in with like Plup, non-quarantine Plup. You got Nun and Cody looking good. You got all the Falcons looking good. Like, it's just such a good like.
Or this guy, I don't know what he is. Plays Marth, I think.
You got this guy looking.
No, he's pretty forgettable.
Whatever, dude.
I'll always be mad that
I
we were
have a
robbed.
compelling backstory. Screw you guys.
You have a what?
A compelling backstory.
Zane's compelling backstory is that he has high cholesterol.
I figured it out yesterday. I thought about it all day. It really got to me. I was like, do I not have anything? I was thinking about it. I was like, what? I was like, I have high cholesterol. And then I typed it out.
You know, I did a big talk with that about Toe. Like, to become a top player back in the day, you had to be a maniac. There had to be something wrong with you. Because, like, why the fuck did you spend so much time getting good at a game that had, like, 0.0001% of chance to ever get you sponsored or, like, make any money? But when you played, it was like, oh, there's already several sponsored players. There's a clear path, and you can just follow this, and you can just win. But, I mean, that's the goal, right? That, like, it should be straightforward.
Yeah.
I hate Zane.
Dude, I can get crazy. Just give me a doc. I'll show you.
Wait, what do you say in your YouTube episode? Show them what is it?
I'll show you how crazy a motherfucker like Zane can get. I slapped myself in the mirror. I think they cut that out.
I fucking love that scene. That shit. That shit's fire, dude.
I mean, I think it's cool to see how different all the top players are. And I mean, like, ultimately, it's just whatever makes you dedicated enough to become good enough.
I always
and,
say that Melee personalities are so interesting because we're all fucking 1,000% different. Like, if you look at all the top 10, and I think it's because, like, everyone has a personality. Even you can say someone lame as shit. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say a name, but even somebody, even somebody you think is boring. Everyone name your own player in your head that's kind of boring. But think about them, like, compared to, like, other gamers, and they're probably still pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, because, I think what attracts people to Melee is a certain psycho interesting thing about them. Because, like, only nutcases will play this game. So you look at our top 20, it's just nutcase, right?
What's
I
that?
think that's what makes our community so special. Is we just got a bunch of psycho ass motherfuckers who are actually pretty interesting. And that's why our game's still alive. Because, like, imagine if we were all the same, like, just a bunch of nerdy chads or whatever. It'd be like,
imagine 5 of any one of us.
It'd still be cool, but the oomph comes from the
5
personality.
Leffens. Those Twitter wars would
I'd
be out
hate
of this
myself. I
world.
hate
I
myself.
always say if there was another Mango, I would fucking despise that kid. Oh
They'd
my
eat each other.
god. Oh, Mango versus Mango would not be pretty. That guy's such a clown already in my head.
I think Zayn would like
He thinks he's
himself.
all that? Fuck that kid.
Oh, we're ready for questions? Nice.
All right. Does any one of you have it open?
No.
An open? You're the host.
Thank God I'm getting the YouTube ad money from this.
Yeah, there you go. Enjoy your $40.
Hey, one of our podcast. I mean, yes, $40. That's it. Yep.
Yes.
Leffen, in the new doc, there was footage of you moving your right hand really strange from the X through A button area. What kind of controller style is that? It might be me double shining, where I slide over like B, A, X, because I jump with X. What it also could have been was me clawing, which I do for like JC up smashes sometimes, where I use my index finger for the X button and my thumb for the C stick. Then the next question is $20 from Inferno.
That was the question?
Yeah, it was a question.
Pay $10 for that. That's it.
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
His name is Rad.
That was
A
a
rad question.
Wait. Zane, you use Y, right?
Yeah, of course.
I actually think flat earthers use X. I think
Yeah,
you're-
it makes
I think
no
you're dumb
sense.
as fuck if you
I'm
use
more
X.
technical than
geniuses
both of
use
you
tap
two
jump.
combined. Shut the fuck up.
No, you're not.
What?
Okay.
Dude, I'm technical.
I bet
$20
you Zane,
yeah, I've seen
Zane
your
has
Fox.
better ledge
Yeah,
dashes
great.
than you right now.
I'd have
okay.
fire ledge dashes.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
you want to test it? I'll money match you in
Ledge
ledge
dash
dashes.
match. I got 100 on
Delete
Zane.
money match.
Yeah.
Higher average Gallant after 100 wins.
Get 14.
It's not about getting 14, Zane. It's about
In the
living through the
competition it
nines. All right. Next question is $20 from the Inferno. Who is the worst player in 2020 who could beat all the gods in a tourney in 2014?
Oh.
Wait, the worst? Oh, like, who could we send back in time to own us?
Yeah,
Is
in
that- I
2014.
think that question's weird because, like, the thing that the people in 2014 have is, like, tourney experience. Like, is the person we're
Yeah.
sending back in time going to have the experience?
Like,
So,
can
let's
they
see.
stand the pressure, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Don't say fucking Bobby. Bobby will get
Worst
fucking
player?
smoked.
Bobby got smoked.
Bobby will get absolutely shit on.
Yeah, Bobby
What?
could be. Who would Bobby beat? I don't even know.
Maybe me on a bad day because it's Faces. He's not touching anyone else. We can send in. I think.
He'd be the H-Fox. Dude, that guy's fire versus the H-Fox.
I think you can send Ginger. I think Ginger can go.
I was
back
gonna say
in time.
Ginger.
I think Ginger can run amok back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about can we go lower?
What's lower?
Like, I don't like. Are we talking
Such a-
like what Ginger's rank right now? Is he 10?
It's like 20th, right? Well,
Top
all right,
10
well,
or 20. It depends.
it's like old, but if we like rank it now, I'd say he's like close to top 10, right?
Yeah, I think.
We send Don't
I
Test
think
Me
you
back.
actually have to be like top 15. I think if you go outside of top 15,
giving Mango a run for his money in 2014, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start sweating. I'm gonna start laser camping the
Roy?
fuck out of this Roy.
Don't Test Me.
don't,
He's doing things you've
don't
never seen
test me
before.
sent back.
I've never seen anything like this.
Who is
before.
this? Who is this?
Can we just
guy?
send back? Can we go to the timeline where I send Mewtwo Man, Mango says Scorpadorp from 2020, and Zain sends Don't Test Me, and we just
I think we can
invade?
win. I actually think we could win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
we
yeah.
know ourselves.
Well, the thing is, dude, go back and watch 2014. It's so ugly.
I know. I watched 2015. It was a bad set.
Yeah, as sad as it is, I think Don't Test Me would go back to 2014 and at least get top 3. He'd give people a run for their money.
I think Armada would be hard.
Well, that's
Armada's-
just matchup wise.
Armada's
Yeah.
Peach, yeah, that'd suck.
I mean, it's kind of fun to make fun of our old selves because that was so high at the time, but now it's like, lol. Don't
Dude,
test
I
me,
watched
go
the
get 'em.
original podcast, and they talk about Mewtwo King, and it's like he plays so much, and he he
Just
says
ass.
he says I played 3 hours a day for 2 weeks for a tournament,
And that's like
and
a
they
lot,
were like,
right?
"Oh my god, the robot."
What? If he's a
Dude.
robot, I'm something else, dude.
It's because the kids don't realize that, like, to play Melee back in the, you had to go to someone's house or they had to come to your house, and it was like, it was just so different to play. Like,
Yeah, it was so different. Like
It was
it's
different to
actually
play 6
impressive to
hours.
get someone for 3 hours every day for 2 weeks
Yeah.
straight. That's like hard.
I can imagine, yeah.
Nah,
Oh,
that's
there's
why,
no
like-
net play. Oh my god. Oh,
I love.
You'd have to go
Solomid.
outside.
outside?
You had to, dude. Remember, you ever pay gas money? You had to go to.
Oh my
Oh
god.
man, what you know about gas money?
I know about gas money. Hey, Virginia Tech, don't forget.
Oh, true.
Humble beginnings.
Your humble beginning.
Didn't you
is
have a
going to
scene
really
at your
good
college?
Shut up.
That's your humble beginning, going to a good college.
Shut up.
I
J
had
Barbecue.
to travel like an hour plus, and I could only play once a week for like the first 2 years. Everything
I
else
was
was
spoiled.
just-
I had Joey, so I can't complain.
All right. Next question is $10 from that one guy 332. Do you think
That's my guy.
Do you think if Samox would have reviewed the documentary with all the gods featured in this initially before showing it on Twitch, that there would have been less criticism overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy question.
I also think that like it's hard because like you don't want to be like, let's say that in a reality where one of us really was super fucking shitty, and then he would just like straight up go like, you can't include this. You can't, like, what do you do then as Samox? That's the problem, I guess.
I think there'd be a middle ground.
Yeah.
I think
But,
like yeah.
I think you
Just
could have shown it
middle
to most people that like have been around, and they would have given like some decent.
ground. I think getting feedback would be drastically different. And I think if he ever does again, he should maybe look for feedback.
Yeah.
It's also kind of scary to just send it out there raw. Like I don't want to raw dog my fucking 5-year work. I'd be like, nah, mom,
Yeah, it's
come
like-
watch this. Like somebody,
mean-
please come tell me this is good.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I would have just like maybe just on the sensitive things. Like if you want to describe the evidence.zip thing, like just, hey, Leffen, here's your segment about this. Is this an okay introduction? I'm like,
No.
no, God, no, God, no. But yeah, I think it would have been better, but I mean, maybe there would have been less hype. Maybe his reasoning? I don't know. You always have to ask him about that. I'm sure he, like, with hindsight, probably would have changed it. $10 from Deer. I don't know how to pronounce it. DHIR. From the perspective of top players, what do you think can be done to improve online events? Looking forward to the Gallant Melee Open. Is that his tournament?
Yeah. That's the first big tournament in January, which I'm registered for. I am, yeah.
Nice. Another tournament for America. Oh, nice.
I think so.
Let America have this, dude.
Come on.
We've had such a hardship. You don't know.
You got
nothing.
Biden now. I'm back on the America hate
Not
train.
yet. Not yet.
Biden? All right, dude.
You better clarify that real quick. You're gonna end up in the next doc.
Oh,
where you
wait.
look at
Wait, no. I just no. People know me. People know me. It's fine.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought too.
I'm like, everyone loves mango. Wait, what?
People know me.
All right.
What could be
trust them.
done better?
Wait, what was the question?
What could be done better for online tournaments?
I think honestly we got a pretty good crack at it. I don't know. I'm pretty happy overall when I enter an online tournament. Except when they try to stream too much. That's fucking annoying. But that's an IRL problem too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way an online tournament should take more than like 4 hours. Just fucking make the losers play off stream and then, have only winners matches. I think if all online tournaments...
I agree with that. Like, if you're doing an online tournament, you don't have to play it out like a normal tournament. You can just do like top 6 winners. You don't always have to like stretch everything out to make it like perfectly normal tournament. I think different tournament formats could be cool too. But honestly, I think the biggest thing is just like run the events well. Like maybe like if you want to, you can like run some tournament sets and then have like a highlight segment of like previous sets before you go into the next days or next like part of the bracket. Like there's a lot of good things that you have from just having all the footage. Like you can technically have all the matches completely like at your disposal when like pools is done and it goes into top 32. So you could like look at like a player's stats throughout the tournament so far. You can look at character distribution, like a lot of those things. Outside of that, I think commentators, like my quality is really bad sometimes, which is something that should be pretty easily fixable.
Yeah, I think with that, it just comes with planning. Like, I feel like the commentary stuff often happens last second.
Yeah.
And just having that worked out well in advance would probably be really good. Just because it's like tricky to deal with the commentary issues right when it happens, especially with people like interrupting each other if they're doing like remote casting and stuff. Yeah, just having that worked out, I feel like is the biggest thing.
Don't run losers matches. And that's it. Stop trying to... Because especially now, people, if you really want to watch a match, a lot of people stream their matches. It's like, can't get on the mainstream, but I think staying ahead of schedule is way more important. If somebody really wants to watch like Ginger versus Bobby, but you have to stream this, just fucking, they can go there. Like,
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that.
And then sometimes you can do stuff like, now that spectating is more flexible, you can like spectate several sets. What you can also do is like, you can like jump from matches. If a match is looking like a wash.
Oh, that's like some ESPN shit,
yeah,
dude.
and
Like,
you can just go like, okay, well, this one's real close. Here, we're just in game 5, ESA versus Pew Pew. And then like, we'll go straight to the next match. Like stuff like that.
It's
I
like
think
that
can
in
be done really well.
like the NFL, if the game's boring towards the end, they just switch it to a more hype game.
Channel
so someone's
switch.
getting 2-0, switch. 2-0, switch. I think that's actually a really fucking good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, 6-4 podcast. Next question.
All right, next question. $10 from Anonymous. Should Mute King have had more presence in the dock?
I think personally he got a little robbed. The only thing
I think the biggest thing was that like he
3.
should. Did you see like the last episode where he like they just interviewed someone right after he lost his shroom or something, who was like sitting in the Apex like area, and he was
Dude, it said
he just said
Mute King out
like
at
talking about
9th,
MVG,
I
right?
died.
yeah, he's like I did really badly at this event, and then they show the tournament set, like they don't even show it before, and then it was just weird because it made him seem like a sad loser when he just underperformed this one event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think if you are a Meech King fan, the thing is Meech King just didn't win any tournaments at that time. So it's like he won Big House 3.
Yeah,
And
but that was
that
a
should-
170-man tournament.
Yeah.
Compared to
it
Apex
wasn't,
with that,
and there was
which had
no
1,000.
Mango, no Armada. But it was
Yeah,
still a big moment for him, and I'm not trying to take away from him. But
Yeah.
if you're a Meech King fan, I think he got robbed there. Otherwise, he didn't really do much. But you can't be mad because like the way it's actually because it started off so well because like Meech King was the original god. He's like they hyped him up as like he's the first like guy that was like, dude, we can't beat this guy, right? So I think if you're a Meech King fan, I mean that's like his storyline. Like he was
maybe
the first
maybe
guy.
like a line or two just about like, again, I think this is ties into the whole thing of like, if you describe a little bit more about just how dominant all of the 5 gods were, even though HBox or Meech King didn't like win any events, that does not mean that they got 9th or 7th. Like that means that they were like
always top
always
8,
in the running still.
7th, 5th, yeah. I mean,
And
a lot of
that,
times
like-
they got 4th, 3rd, 2nd too. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like they never missed like top 12 or like top 8 almost. And like showing that would have given more perspective. Outside of that, I mean, it's just hard. Like, how much do you want to show? Do you want to show every tournament?
Yeah, I feel like if you're going, the problem is if you brand it as a 5 gods documentary, which is like the main problem. I feel like you have to have more perspective, even if he's not placing in the same tiers. There should still be some underlying narrative of how he like felt from tournament to tournament.
Yeah.
I felt like there was just a complete miss, right? Like I was like, where is Meech King? Or
Yeah,
where
like you
is
didn't know if he
HBox?
was even playing sometimes.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, he was in this tournament, right? Like he placed like top 8. But
Yeah, I think that's
it just,
something they did well in the original doc, where they like showed the faces and then they just faded them. Just doing that and like for top 8s, stuff like that.
yeah,
Just showing that he's there could be cool.
yeah, or at least some segment where you have some general idea of how he felt through all these years. It just felt really absent.
I think just a cool thing that could have been done is like you could have had HBox, Meech King, who didn't get that much airtime, but like interview them just about the other gods, and think about if like imagine like you just had Travis was able to use like a random clip of like HBox saying something about PP at any given second, right? And they could have gone for all of us. Like if we just had more talking about each other, and you could have squeezed that in like anywhere you want.
Yeah, I think the
would've helped a lot with
dynamic
that.
between the gods is like probably the biggest missed opportunity.
Yeah, because
like
the dynamic
interviews.
is very interesting with all of
Yeah.
us. It's like a very
Sorry, are we getting cut off in 30 seconds? Is that the thing? Okay. Yeah,
Are those
sorry
all
to
the
the questions
questions?
we didn't get to. I'll answer these on my stream. Haha, go to my stream. The podcast is up on YouTube and Spotify and everything. Good talking to you. It was a little scuffed, but I think we got through it well.
I think it was good.
Next time we'll talk more about like Slippy and other things.
And
Good talk,
maybe
good talk,
Summit too. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, so,
Actually, I do have some shit to say about Summit, dude.
What?
I'm sick of this Zayn narrative. Is so unbeatable.
What?
Suck
All
my
right, hold
nuts.
on. Listen,
Watch those
listen.
sets. Watch
If
those
you had the
fucking
same
sets.
results as me, you would be calling yourself the best in the world. And I'm not saying that's the right thing
You
to
just
do.
won one tournament.
You would be calling yourself the best in the world.
You won 3
You would.
exhibitions.
All right, look at me in the eyes and tell me you wouldn't be calling yourself the
No,
best. the
because
best
I
in the
will
world.
find the
You
VOD of
wouldn't?
me
You're
talking
such a
after
liar.
Smash Championship League, whatever. I said whoever won that would probably be the best.
If
but-
you won those SELs, you would have been like, oh, these are so fucking valuable.
But no, I've also said there's not enough data to call yourself the best. Also, Leffen has to sit there and take this.
Yeah, whatever. I'm
Not
not
the
calling
right
myself the
best-
best in the world. I think it's fine. I understand that the tiers are probably.
I think-
supposed to go.
I
Alright,
think
bye.
you're best in NA, Saying that.
All right,
I'm
we
on-
both fuck
and
you up. Why don't
I'm
you
also
shut
on
up?
your side that Mango probably would call himself that.
You're gonna
I
shit
do
on you.
think
You better
so.
hope COVID never ends, you little bitch.
Get destroyed.
Oh, fuck.
I
Get
can't wait for
destroyed.
COVID not to. I can't wait for COVID to end. All right,
Zayn
the
will send
best.
you to losers.
I'm
He's
the
gonna
best.
send me to
I'm the
losers.
best.
I'm gonna fuck you up. And I'm
I'm
gonna
the
fuck
best.
Zayn up.
I'm the best.
I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best.
by the way,
I'd
you
say
got destroyed in ledge dashing discussion.
No, all right, well, we're doing this tomorrow. I swear to God. First to 10, average on that. All right,
All right,
we're wrapping this up.
peace.